Today I'm going to be talking about how to stop worrying about what other people think and take action towards your goals. The reason why I'm talking about that is because after I was diagnosed with cancer and I went through treatment and I was at home, when I went back into the normal world, I realized that a lot of people they were living a life that they were not happy with, not so much because they wanted, but they were so worried about, changing and what other people around them would think of them and of their dreams or of their goals and of the changes that they wanted to make. And of course that left them in a place of being unhappy and being resentful of the life that they were living. And I think it's fair to say that we have been conditioned to be in a place where we want to feel that we belong and that we are part of a community, and we want an acceptance. We want people to think that we're doing the right thing, and that comes from childhood. Our parents, praise us when we're doing the right thing and punish us when we're not doing the right things. And that never leaves us, and that becomes, from our parents to the extended family. Your extended family want to know, why you're doing this and that and the other. They're also either approving you or disapproving you. And you are always, worrying about what they're going to think. What are my grandparents are going to think? What are my uncles and aunties are going to think? And always think like that. And these days we have the social media world, which is, the whole world out there, that when we put, share something that we believe in, we have this fear inside of us that what if, people might disagree with me? What if I get a bad comment? What if, people, say something that I'm not prepared to answer? We're always looking for that approval. And, it would be an illusion for me to sit here and say, don't care, just stop caring about what other people think, because we are human beings that live in community and in a society, and we want to belong somewhere. Most likely all our friends, they believe in similar things than we do. Even on social media, our feed just keeps feeding us with things that, we like to hear, we like to watch, we like to read, right? So it's important to acknowledge that, this is already in us, and once you acknowledge that, instead of going like, why can't I just stop caring and worrying about what other people think? Once you acknowledge that, it just gives you a little bit of a relief to go, okay, that's fine. So what should I do with this now? It's important to then acknowledge, am I a highly sensitive person? If somebody, if my mom says to me, this, do I get really upset and I go down a spiral and I just feel really upset about it? If you're highly sensitive, you're most likely, just to be very, very upset if somebody says something that it's against what you believe in, right? And again, that's okay. So accept where you are at within that. But that doesn't mean you need to stay there. The biggest change in life is accepting where we are at and who we are and how we react to things and how we perceive things, so we can then start observing how we go about things. I post, I think a couple of days ago, about all the things that I did where I had to go completely against everybody's opinion of what I was doing and of me at the time. I left Brazil when I was 21 years old, and my parents did not want me to leave. If I had stayed in Brazil, I would have been unhappy. I did not want to create a life in Brazil. It wasn't for me. There was so much things that I didn't agree with around the society and how things worked over there. I have since lived in 5 different countries. I speak 4 different languages. I have done some incredible things, but I had to go against what people who loved me the most believed it was the best thing for me. The next thing that I did is I invited my husband. He was a stranger then, to come to see me in Belgium. All my friends were like, Angelica, you're crazy. What about if he's like a murderer? I had met him once in a hostel in Budapest. You know, guess what? 18 years later, we are happily married and we have lived in 3 different countries together and we've got 2 kids. Again, you know, I had to go against what other people thought of what I was doing. The next thing was when I moved to England for him, I had a life in Belgium. I had a job, I had a house, I had friends. And they were like, what? How lame is that? You're going to move to be with a man? Like, why would you do that? We had, you know, been in a long distance relationship for a year. You know, you could argue that, you know, we knew each other, but only knew each other like it was just like a weekends together. You know, when I was diagnosed with cancer, you know, all the major shifts that I did in my life around the diet, you know, again, you know, everybody around me, like, you can't stop eating meat right now. You need to eat meat. And I just, you know, kept carving my own path and going against what everybody else believed and thought of what I was doing. As they realized that I got stronger and healthier, you know, they started getting curious. And that's when I want to talk about that. Perhaps you might start doing something that everybody around you is thinking, oh my God, you know, like, are you crazy? Why are you doing this? But then as they see that, you know, you're enjoying yourself, you're happy, and you're getting results, and you're achieving your goals, they might get curious, and you might inspire them to doing the same. And instead, you know, of becoming like, why did you do that? They'll ask you, how did you do that? And sometimes it might take time. It has taken me 4.5 years for some of my family members to ask me, you know, how did you do this? You know, what should I do about that? But most important here, it's not about them. It's about you. You know, when we are young and we're growing up and our parents have all these dreams and ideas of the life that they want us to live, and we resent them for it. You know, my parents wanted me to be, you know, either a doctor or a lawyer or work for a big organization and be, you know, a senior executive. They couldn't see me doing anything else. So when I said I was going to leave Brazil, without a plan, they were like, what are you doing? You know, they didn't approve of it at all. But if I had listened to them, I would have resented them. I would have resented the life that I would have had to live in Brazil. I have created a life that I wanted to live, despite of, you know, their dreams for me. And if you are in a place where you are living a life for somebody else, it could be your parents, it could be your husband, it could be your wife, it could be your brothers or sisters, your daughters and sons, or friends around you, you are most likely resenting them if that life it's not for you, and you know deep down it's not for you. You know, sometimes, you know, we have to go against everybody around us. You know, something as simple like, let's talk about drinking alcohol. You know, when you stop drinking, you might lose friends because you all of a sudden you don't have a lot more in common with these people, right? Like, and I'm not saying that they're right or wrong, they're just different. You're into different things. You might want to wake up early and go for a hike or walk or a paddleboard or surf, while they are, you know, not into that. They want to party all night. So when you are starting to really started to living a life for you, you might lose some people around you, and that's okay. You know, that is life. You know, around when you think about, when you're worrying about what other people think of you, there is also an element of self-worth. You know, you think to yourself, you know, I need to be around these people. I need acceptance. I need belonging. I need, you know, I can't be on my own. You might find that, you know, in the example of stop drinking, you might find another group of people. You might have even more fun. Again, it's not about being right or wrong, better or worse. It's just that life changes. And the self-worth, it's only going to come from you. You know, there is an element of fear there, to thinking, you know, if I change this, will I lose connections? Will I lose friendships? Would I lose even family members? And if that is the case, but in the process you're creating a life that you want to live, you know, you're creating a body that you are happy with, you're creating health for you. You know, if I had listened to, you know, don't stop eating meat, you know, don't stop eating dairy, I wouldn't be at the healthiest place that I am in today. I researched a lot of it to be what I am today, and I took action towards it. And I'm here because I carved my own path, not because I was worried or listened to other people. The bottom line is, when you ask yourself, am I happy living this life? Am I satisfied with the way that my body is, with my health is? Am I fulfilled, in this job that I never wanted to have? It was, perhaps my parents pushing me into this career that I resent and I hate now, and it's making me sick. There is an element of comfort in all of this. It's easy to say, I am doing this because, my parents or my husband, my wife, my brothers and sisters, sons and daughters, need me to do this. When we want to change, when we have had enough of our own suffering, we change, regardless of the situation, regardless of what other people think. And sometimes it takes us to get to that place, and sometimes we need to be honest and real to ourselves and ask ourselves, okay, so am I worrying about what other people think, and that's stopping me from taking action? But what am I gaining with this? Is it that I don't have to take the uncomfortable action? Is that I don't have to put myself out there? Is that I don't have to, try to start my business and fail several times? Try to date again and fail several times? Is that what it is? The reality of it? When you look around us, we think we're the only ones going through all this, the issues and the problems and the challenging situations around us. But millions of people have gone through the same. Millions of people have gone through cancer, through sickness, through issues with their family, through bankruptcy, through a divorce, through parents who were alcoholics, through parents through abuse, through so many hardship. Millions of people have gone through an abortion. They've been addicted to drugs. They've been to prison. They've been through hell and back. You are not the only one. Millions of people have had paralyzing anxiety. They haven't been able to leave their house. They've been diagnosed with autoimmune diseases. They've been, suffering with their health without even knowing why or how to solve it. And you might be a step ahead of them or a step behind them. And it doesn't really matter. How many times have you been scrolling on social media and you've seen a live like this and you thought to yourself, oh my God, look at her hair, it looks terrible. Oh my God, look what she's talking about. This is ridiculous. It makes no sense. I bet you 9 times out of 10, it could have been the worst thing you have ever watched. You thought to yourself, it's really brave of her to share her story. It's really brave of her, to come live and not have any makeup on. It's really brave of her, to not have any filters on. It's really brave of her to be vulnerable. This is it, guys. Everybody have gone through things. And if you are living life for others, you are not living a life for you. And the fear is always going to be there. Take the action regardless of the fear. Stop thinking that one day you're going to wake up and you're not going to worry about what other people think. You're not going to have any fear, and you're going to take all this action and you're going to change your life overnight, because that's not going to happen. Fear, the worry, the anxiety, whatever it is always going to be there. But what's not going to be there? It's this second in time. It's this moment in life. Once it's gone, it's gone. If you think about it, what am I going to say at the end of my life? Oh, I didn't do this because my mom didn't want me to, or because I was too worried about what my daughter was going to think, or my son, or my husband, or my wife. I didn't do this because I was worried that people would judge me on social media. I can guarantee you that if you don't live a life for you, you will regret. And how do I know that? Because I have begged for another opportunity. And this is why I am here, because I have been blessed with another one. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.